Everybody, video here for you today, an ancient history news video for new subs. I used to do these about once every 10 days, but I just haven't done one for a couple months. Things were really hectic and busy for me at the end of last year, and I didn't make one of these videos, but today's the day. Found some ancient history news stories, and I am working on a video on the Younger Dryas period, and that has just taken me quite a while to do. So I thought I'd take a time out from that video and make this one today. First story, it's not a real serious ancient history news story, but it has to do with Gobekli Tepe. So I thought I'd report on it. Gobekli Tepe's right down here. Here's a story that just came out this morning, and I will leave all these links below. Mystery monolith appears at world's oldest temple in Turkey. A view of a metal slab cordoned off by security forces in Sanliurfa, southeastern Turkey on February 5th, 2021. I believe this phenomena of the monolith started in Utah, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and these have popped up worldwide. Here, monolith appearing at Gobekli Tepe sometime very recently. It says a 3-meter tall or 9.8 foot tall metal slab resembling mysterious monoliths that have been popping up at several locations around the world has now appeared near Gobekli Tepe, home to the world's oldest temple in Turkey's southeastern province of Sanliurfa. Security forces rushed to the area on Friday when locals in a nearby village alerted them to the monolith, which is much smaller than its counterparts found abroad. Troops cordoned off the area, an empty lot, and brought in experts from the local culture and tourism authorities. Experts said the inscription on the slab, which was only 45 centimeters or 17.7 inches wide, was in ancient Gökturk alphabet and meant, "Look at the sky if you want to see the moon." Why would it refer to the moon? Well, the people out here, south of here, ancient Haran, the cult of Sin, the moon watchers, ancient Sabians, that's probably why. But this phenomena started in Utah a few months ago. Here's one popping up by Gobekli Tepe. Let's move on. Next story, let's go down to ancient Peru. This is a site that we're going to go down to that I've covered, but we're talking about a whole culture down here. This is called Kuelap. I know Brian Forster has covered this site right down here. I think they call this the Fortress of Kuelap down here, and you can tell why these people were called the Cloud People. But some ruins are evident here. This is a pretty fascinating place. I have not talked about it for 3 or 4 years. You can see the circular ruins up on top here, but that must have been quite a view from up here. Here's a story that is just a couple days old, the story of Peru's cloud warriors, what can be known about Peru's pre-Incan civilization. And here is the Chachapoyas sarcophagi just put up on the cliff face up here. It says, recent archaeological discoveries has shed new light on the history of Peru's Chachapoya people. Until the 1990s, most of what we knew about this pre-Columbian culture, referred to as warriors of the clouds by the Inca, was based on third-hand stories from unreliable Spanish chroniclers. The Chachapoya people predated the Inca by about 6 centuries, and they had no written language, so all we can go on is by what they left us and the symbolism put in their artifacts. Here's the terrain where some of those sarcophagi are found. This is north of Kuelap in the city of Chachapoya. But right up here on the cliff face, this is where these sarcophagi were put for whatever reason. It says the Chachapoya culture flourished about 6 centuries before the Inca came on the scene. They were a loosely unified society of small kingdoms which gradually took root, farming terraced fields and acting as trading intermediaries between the Andes and the Amazon. The population, which may have numbered 500,000 at its peak, produced powerful shamans and engendered a tough fighting ethos. It evolved with little outside trauma until the invasion of the Inca in the 1470s. Here are some mummies from the Chachapoya culture. I just think this is an interesting thing, something I haven't mentioned for a long time. But it says, characterized by sarcophagi with humanoid faces and cottage-like mausoleums that were built into the rock face and adorned with rust-red imagery. These stone tombs, or chulpas, which still look down imposingly from isolated hillsides, suggest a vigorous, independent culture that was marked different from its Andean neighbors. Next story, let's go down to central Israel, Ramla. Story came out, a find, very ancient, right down here. This story came out on the 3rd of February. Prehistoric bone etchings believed to be among the oldest evidence of human use of symbols, and here some very ancient bones, and once again, I'll leave all these links below. It says, while scientists and historians have long surmised that etchings on stones and bones have been used as a form of symbolism dating back as early as the Middle Paleolithic period, as long as 250,000 years ago, findings to support that theory are extremely rare. But a team of archaeologists have uncovered evidence of what may be the earliest known use of symbols. The symbols were found on a bone fragment in the Ramla region in central Israel and are believed to be approximately 120,000 years old. People have always been intelligent and probably always recording things. Here is a bone fragment here. It says the paper's authors stress that their analysis makes it very clear that the engravings were definitely intentionally man-made and could not have been the result of animal butchering, so that is interesting. 120,000 years ago, people carving symbols on bone fragments. Let's move on. Next story, let's just go a short distance away. A couple stories I'm going to report on from Egypt that came out recently. Let's go to the first one. This was reported on by many websites. Ancient mummy found entombed in strange cocoon, never seen by archaeologists. The discovery of a rare mud mummy from ancient Egypt has surprised archaeologists who weren't expecting to find the deceased encased in a hardened shell of mud. It says it's possible the mud wrap was used to stabilize the mummy after it was damaged, but mud may have been meant to emulate practices used by society's elite, who were sometimes mummified with imported resin-based materials during a nearly 350-year period from the late New Kingdom to the 21st dynasty. It says the mud sheath isn't the mummy's only oddity. The mummy, dated to about 1207 BC, was damaged after death and was even interred in a wrong coffin, actually meant for a woman. One suggestion is this was a commoner placed inside of what looks like a very royal sarcophagus. To make it more sellable, here are scans of that mummy encased in mud. I will leave this link below, but here are some more scans of the head and the whole body here. Here's that sarcophagus that was on the black market, I guess. But this has very intricate artwork done on it here. Some what appears to be very royal symbols in here. I haven't really tried to read exactly who this is. They say it is not marked by a name, but I kind of highly doubt that. I just think they haven't found it yet. But it's very interesting here, coming down through the neck. In the midsection, the sun disk is being pushed up towards the head. Final enlightenment probably meant there. Very cool. Very beautifully designed sarcophagus. Here's another story from Egypt that has come out in the last week. Archaeologists discover mummies with golden tongues in Egypt. There's a mummy with a gold tongue placed in it. Why would they do this? Well, they think just it kind of symbolizes that they could speak with the gods. It says an Egyptian Dominican archaeological team working near Alexandria has discovered 2,000-year-old mummies, some of them bearing golden tongued amulets. The Egyptian authorities stated the mission discovered 16 tombs cut into the rock in the temple of Taposiris Magna, west of Alexandria in northern Egypt. The Antiquities Ministry said in a statement, adding that the burial technique was widespread in the Greek and Roman periods. I just haven't heard that reported on too many times, but that's a couple interesting stories coming out of Egypt recently. Final story, let's go down to Mexico, Tenochtitlán. I've never done a video on Tenochtitlán. Maybe, so I wouldn't have to say the word, but it's right down here, famous Aztec capital, right in the middle of Mexico City. This is what it looks like today. Ancient ruins right in the middle of buildings, but a very important place in ancient Mexico. Here are what the ruins look like in the middle of Mexico City today. A lot of excavation work has gone on here, unearthing all this stuff. And here's a virtual reconstruction of what this place used to look like when it was thriving. Some pretty impressive monuments built here by the Aztecs. This is a guess at what this place used to look like a long time ago. Here's a story from about a week ago. Stunning eagle sculpture uncovered at sacred Aztec temple in Mexico. And there's a good look at it. It says a bas-relief of golden eagle found near the foot of Templo Mero at Tenochtitlan. That is a pretty cool discovery. It says a striking 600-year-old Aztec sculpture depicting a golden eagle has been uncovered in an ancient temple in Mexico. Archaeologists with Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History announced last Monday. The eagle, which measures 41.7 inches by 27.6 inches or 106 by 70 centimeters, is the largest bas-relief sculpture ever found in Mexico. It says for the Aztecs, the Templo Mero lay at the heart of the physical, mythical, and spiritual universe, said Carolyn Dodds-Pennick, an Aztec historian from Sheffield, England. But there is a look at the ruins, Mexico City. Here is a look at that golden eagle, and they do give an explanation for it here. It says, the eagle was a sacred creature in Aztec thought, believed to have been present at the birth of the sun, hence the blackened, singed wingtips, and was a symbol of one of the elite warrior orders in Aztec culture. But a lot of this ancient symbolism has to do directly with the sun. Those are some recent ancient history news stories coming from around the world. Haven't done a video like that for a couple months at least. I was due. Hope you thought that was interesting. And you all have a very nice day.